Okay, so over to you, Miss Deborah Ojo.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Um, my name is Deborah Ojo. I'm a real estate agent. I also happen to be one of the directors of CMP. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Thank you for sharing your time with us. I'm just going to introduce CMP briefly to some of us that maybe doesn't know what we stand for. Council of Nigerian Professionals is a non-for-profit association established by a group of visionary Nigerian professionals to enable Nigerians realize their full potential in Canada. Our vision is to enable and support ourselves towards sustainable growth, development, and prosperity. And that is one of the reasons why we are here tonight. Now, if you want more information about CMP, please go to cmpngo.ca. Our email address, if you wanted to reach out to us, is info@cnpngo.ca. Again, it's info@cnpngo.ca. We know COVID has turned a lot of world upside down. Everything has been impacted. We live and interact with each other and in different ways now. We're communicating virtually more often than before. Everything in our lives has been affected. CMP, in collaboration with Red Cross, produced an album that is available on our YouTube channel, which I'm going to link the information below. I'll link it below. We produce an album. Many of the singles will remind you of home. I listen to it when I'm going to bed. It reminds me of home, and we hope that you will find strength and comfort to weather the storm of what's COVID and what is going on through the world right now. It is also imperative to CMP that our community have access to the best information, and that's one of the reasons why we came up with this speaker series. Through our speaker series, CMP has continued to work together in partnership with our sponsors to ensure the best quality information are available to support decision making during this crisis. Today, we want to focus on our business owners. Aspiring owners. As many of you may be aware, there were a lot of incentives. There was CBA loan for businesses, but we see that many of our community members were not able to access this. Why? Because they don't have the right structure. Our speaker today is Madam Olufunke Omobolaji Eyitayo. Funke is a graduate of University of Lagos, a fellow Institute of Chartered Accountants, ICANN, a member of the Chartered Institution of Taxation Nigeria, CITN, a qualified payroll compliance practitioner. In Canada, and has an MBA in finance from the University of Liverpool. Funke currently consults for a number of organizations in various capacities as an experienced and result-oriented business and support person with extensive knowledge of finance, accounting, taxation, audits, payroll and human resources, procurement and administrative logistic functions. And she's happily married with with kids. She will be going through some of the structures that we need as businesses. Now, before she hops in, we also need a lot of volunteers in CMP. So if you want to volunteer or if you want to learn about us, I would also please email us, and I'll also put those information in the chat box. Sister Funke, please take over the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Madam Deborah, Miss Deborah. Which one?
Anyone?
Okay. Miss Deborah, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Lady Abba, for this opportunity to share with everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'll try and be as brief as possible so that we'll have enough time for questions. And yeah, I can take it from there. Now, I'll just bring up the slide. No. Okay, so I think I'll need help with bringing up the slide. I have no clue. Can someone walk me through? Because I'm trying to share the screen and it's just showing me the screen of the presentation itself, as in this CNP screen.
Okay. So, are you able to say present now or share your screen, or what are you doing?
I can see present now. I've picked it, but it's not showing me the screen I want to show.
Okay. Somebody else is sharing. Okay. You need to open what you want to share first and foremost.
It's open
now, and you click on share screen, the entire screen.
Okay. Oh, okay. Choose what you want to share. It's not there. So I'll just show you what is.
Okay, great.
Okay, so what can you see? Can you see my presentation or no?
I can see a presentation. Now I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks for the help. Okay, so good evening once again. I'm bringing this presentation on behalf of, in collaboration with Council of Nigerian Professionals, as well as the Red Cross of Canada. The first instance, I'm going to explain to us what business structures generally refer to. So business structures, there are three main models your business could be structured. I mean, three main ways your business could be structured. You could come up as a sole proprietorship. You could come up as a partnership. You could come up as a limited liability. A sole proprietorship is that you just have a business name. You're seen and identified by the governing bodies or the incorporators as like a standalone person. There are legal advantages and there are legal disadvantages to being a sole proprietorship. A lot of the time, I think the main disadvantage of being a sole proprietorship is if there are any liabilities, they can come, your clients or your contractors or your consultants can come to you directly for whatever damages may have occurred during your business activities. A partnership is an extension of sole proprietorship. It involves two or more individuals coming together. They are also not. They also, when liability comes, they're also not shielded from those liabilities because there's no the way they are incorporated, there's no shield for them. So directly, if anything happens, liability comes to the partners, as it were. The limited liability company is the most protected when you come to registration. If you register as a limited liability, the company is the one that any liabilities fall under. It doesn't come, the owners are shielded, so to speak, unless there is a serious legal issue before the governing council or bodies now remove the veil of cooperation and then move liability to the incorporators. So in line with liability, the first most vulnerable is the sole proprietorship. The next is the partnership before the limited liability. So I'll move to the next slide. If you have any questions, please put them down with respect to each slide as it goes, because I guess we're limited for time and I don't want to take too much time explaining how you register or what you register as or what you can do to register. If you have those questions, if I'm able to take them now, we will. If not, probably after the session, we can have another, maybe, I don't know how CMP will organize that. So registration and setup will be the next issue. To register your business, you need to confirm, first of all, the type of structure you want to use. That's like with reference to the first slide we've gone over. Then the next issue is to verify if your business is for profit or not for profit. So for profit means you're in it to make money for yourself, and then not for profit is you're doing it as for humanitarian grounds or to benefit other people, not necessarily making anything for yourself. So what type of business do you want to set up? Is it a for profit or is it not for profit? This determines how you register. You can't register a not for profit and make profit of it. You can't register a for profit and call it a not for profit. The next item to consider is you need to verify which level of government. Do you want to register as a federal corporation, or do you want to register as a provincial corporation? A number of business structures have to be registered as provincial. A number can be registered federally. So if you're a professional corporation, that is lawyers, doctors, accountants, you have to work provincially. But otherwise, I don't think outside of those professional bodies, you can either register federally or provincially. For federal, the advantage is in any province, you can do your business. For provincial, you are restricted to the province you've registered. And then the next step after that is you process your incorporation. As I said, there are three basic structures: the sole proprietorship, the partnership, and then the limited liability. Sole proprietorship, partnership, you can do that online. If the province you're under is Ontario, you just go to ontario.ca and then register. It's very straightforward. But if you have to register a limited liability company or an incorporation, a proper incorporation, you can't do it online directly like that. You either go through a third party or you go to the government office to do the incorporation yourself, or you go through a lawyer or an accountant to do your registration for you. All these methods actually do cost some money. So it's not just walk in and say, oh, you want to do it. It's something you need to consider as well, the monetary aspect of it. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. So after you've done your incorporation, the next thing will be to come up with a business plan. If you're setting up a business, you want to go into business, I believe the first thing you need to do is to plan that business. What do you want to do? Where do you want to do the business? How do you want to do it? What's your vision for the business? Is it going to be run by you alone, or is it going to be run by employees eventually? Do you want to have shareholders involved, or do you just want it to be you and maybe a few friends or family or whatever structure you want? Then how do you want to do your business? Do you want it online? Do you want it offline? Do you want it, whatever the methodology you intend to incorporate, the business plan will be your first step towards working that line. So a business plan is a write-up that defines what the business is about, what you want to do. It highlights your vision, your mission. It highlights the business activities you want to do. It highlights the strengths that you see with respect to what you're proposing. What strengths you have, what strengths your area of specialization is, what strength that proposal comes up with, the weaknesses as well, what opportunities you have or the business has, or you see that the business will give to the environment, or the opportunities the structure you are bringing in will give to those around you, or the companies around you, or the country in general, as well as the threats that that the business that you foresee the business having, those things that you feel would affect the profitability or viability or the ability for the business to succeed. There is also what we call the cash flow, how you intend to raise money, what you intend to use the money for, and then how the business is supposed to support or run itself thereafter. Then also the requirements or resources that you will need to ensure that the business is a success, your marketing plan, what you intend to do thereafter. So that's basically the business plan in summary. Again, please write down your questions so that I can answer thereafter. Then another, I won't say the main part, but another very important part of your business structure is how you intend to go about your financial reporting and tax planning. So tax planning, first of all, the structure you come up with needs to be needs to feed off your tax planning. If you want to go as a sole proprietor, the way you file your taxes, the way you document your taxes is different from if you go as an incorporation. There are ways to save funds on both, but usually, even as you're saving, you're also expending. You want to say you want to save as much money, or be you want to optimize your tax savings. For instance, some will say, oh, how should I go about it? Should I go as a sole proprietorship, or should I go as an incorporation? It depends on, and the answer will always obviously be, it depends on what you intend to achieve. Sometimes you say, I will be a sole proprietorship, I don't want to pay what do you call it now, the pension plan, you don't want to do EI, you don't want to pay taxes and all that. And then when things like COVID comes up, it comes back to bite you in the face that why didn't I do this? Because with COVID now, people are coming up with grants that the government comes up with, and you see that you're not eligible because of the way you were structured. So the structure actually is very important for any business owner. How you plan at the very at ab initio, it's key, so that going forward you don't lose out on things that ideally you might be entitled to, or things that might come up for your organization. So financial reporting means like it's kind of like preparing your books of accounting, your balance sheet, your income statement, your cash flow statement, your statement of retained earnings. These are reports, documents that tell people how your business activity is going, how viable it is, or how much trouble it's in, or how good you're doing the business, or how bad you're running the business. It tells what you have, and it tells what you're owing. It tells how much you made. It tells what your expenses are. So if I pick, for instance, the balance sheet, I have what you have as assets and what you have as liabilities. What you have as assets are kind of like things that you have that you build for the business to use, assets. Liabilities are things that you owe, people you owe, or companies you owe, or banks you owe, or monies you owe to third parties. Your income statement is like what you make, your sales, your turnover, your contributions. I mean, not contributions, I'm using the wrong term now. whatever your sales are, or the income you make versus the expenses, how much you spend. So if you're making, for instance, 50,000 and you're spending 60,000, right there you have a shortage of 10,000, which we refer to as a loss. If in your first, second, third year you're running at a loss, yes, maybe you're putting things in place. But after a while, you're supposed to stabilize and then start moving from a loss position to a break-even position and then to a profit. So if you continually make a loss, you ask yourself, why am I in business if I'm continually making a loss? If your business is a not-for-profit, then you wouldn't be overly concerned that you're making a loss, because the money that comes in is actually not for any business per se. It's kind of like money that is supposed to go out anyway to other people to help other situations. So if you're not for profit, you wouldn't be overly concerned that you're not running at a profit. But if you are a for profit, the essence of going into business is to make a profit. So you should be concerned after a while. Your cash flow statement is what informs people on what you use funds for per time. So you spend money on assets, you spend money on investment, you spend money on whatever you spend money on during the year. The cash flow statement breaks it down, and that's kind of like a snapshot of things that doesn't a very brief snapshot of things that you use funds for that year. And then your statement of retained earnings is how much year over year you keep for growth. So we're now on, I think I've kind of like brushed over it. Initially, we had 1 hour for the presentation. So my presentation was kind of like short and sharp, but I understand that they've moved the timing, but let's see how it goes with the questions. So with the questions, there are a number I may be able to answer off the grid as we go, and there may be some that you probably need to consult with your tax person, with your accountant, or with your lawyer, depending on what the question is structured around. So if I tell you, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't the question for me, it's a question for this person, please take it under advisement, and kind of like maybe after this, you could ask the CMP team if there are other people that they could structure a seminar for that particular area of interest. I don't know. But let me not preempt the questions. Ms. Deborah.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much. We learned a lot. If anybody has any questions, please type it in the, or raise your hand or type it in the message box, and I'll try to read it out to her. I'll check now if I see any messages. Okay, there are no messages. There are no questions right now, but I know there's a lot of questions with business professionals. They're always asking questions. Okay, there's a question from Mr. Oladapo. I think in layman's language, income is simply the difference between the cost you incurred running and your revenues. How long after incorporating a sole proprietorship should you start operations as you continue your background work? That's a question. How long after incorporating a sole proprietorship should you start operations as you continue your background work?
Well, I think your background work should be the first thing before you actually start business, because if you start running your business and you haven't gotten your background work done, what are you running your business on? Okay. So I think the planning should be in place. The structure should be in place. What you intend to do, at least know what you intend to do and how you intend to go about it before you actually do the incorporation itself.
And I think also business evolves, right? I don't know why over here is echoing back to me. My voice is echoing back. But business also evolves. So like sometimes people start as a sole proprietor, can they later on, maybe in 5 years, the business is big now, can they continue to, can they advance to being a limited liability company?
Definitely, they can.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody has questions? Please type it in the comments, or somebody. Ogena. Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys, if I pronounce your name wrong. But please go ahead, Ogena. Unmute yourself and go ahead, please. Ogena, are you there? My hand is up.
I think Olagoke says his hand is
Can you
up.
hear me?
Yeah, Ogena, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I've done my background work, but I just came into Canada. I'm just a new immigrant. So I wanted to create she mentioned that a sole proprietorship, that if you want to, register, it can just go online and do that. But me, I haven't filed for tax yet, and they were asking me for something concerning tax and all of that. So I don't know. Is there another one that they do for immigrants that have not filed for tax, or will I have to wait till next year after filing tax before I can register?
Okay, so I'm not sure where you went to do the incorporation, as in what site or whatever. Ideally, if you want to start a business, once you're a resident, there is no question about tax filing or tax returns.
Really? Okay. Please,
No,
can I have a website that I can go?
Go to ontario.ca.
Okay. Ontario.ca. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Olagoke, please go ahead.
Thank you. I hope you're hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Seyitayo, for that presentation. I just wanted to have a clarification. When you talk about the incorporation, usually I think there may be more than one form of incorporation. Usually in Nigeria, we have companies that you call PLC, and we still have companies that are incorporated that are not PLC. Can you make clarifications on such a thing? Do we have private limited incorporated companies? And what is the difference between the PLC, we say First Bank PLC? Most of those companies are PLC. And there are companies that are not PLC, that are incorporated, they are not single proprietor, they are not partnership. Can you make a clarification on such, and how is such applicable in the Canadian environment? Thank you.
Okay, so PLC is actually it's actually an acronym for public limited liabilities. PLC, public limited corporations. I don't think they're private. They don't call them private limited. So they're publicly owned because their shareholders are like a lot, as in they have a lot of shareholders, and I think they're on the stock exchange. So they call them public limited corporations also. Now, limited liabilities or incorporations is just a function of how you register. So you can, for Canada, for instance, you can have incorporated at the end of your name. You can have limited liability. You can have Inc. It depends. Whatever you want to put at the end of your name, it just shows that your organization or your firm is limited by shares. It has shareholders.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do have private companies. We have private corporations also in Canada. We have public. So for instance, Itayo has a business that is incorporated, but it's private because it's owned by her and her family or whoever is there. But the minute it becomes public, it means it's owned by the public. That's when the shares are sold outside of the family. So like RBC now, like BMO, they're public liability. So private are the ones you register for yourself, but it's owned by you, with your children, your family, or whatever, but you're not selling shares to anybody.
Thank you for that clarification. Anybody else with any other questions? I have a question. Nobody else has a question. You were talking about business owners.
There are some questions on the chat.
In the chat box?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me just see that question. Is filing personal tax same as tax return for the sole proprietorship? For sole proprietor?
It's this when you say personal tax, yes, it's technically it is, but there are two separate filings in the same tax return, if that makes any sense. So for the sole proprietorship, there is a form that you fill as a business person, and then there is a part that you fill as an individual. So if you are working, you earn, I mean, you get your T4s or T5 or whatever, and then you're a sole proprietorship, you are running your business on the side. The two filings, the two incomes, the two different lines of income will be put in your personal tax filing. But if you have a corporation that is like a separate corporation outside of your individual, not a sole proprietorship, you file for that corporation separate, not under your personal tax, and then you file your personal tax as well. I don't know if I've answered that question for one issue.
So it's 2 in 1. Personal tax and sole proprietorship is 2 in 1.
It's 2 in 1. Yes, it's 2 taxes in 1.
Okay. Are there benefits of being a corporate entrepreneur that's working and having your own business on the side? Side also. Our source easy.
Well, I will say to each his own. I will say there is no good combination. There is no bad combination. It's what you make of it. Some people are good as corporate workers 100% of their life. Some people are good as entrepreneurs 100% of their life, and some people can combine the two. So if you are able to combine the two without having a headache, why not go for it?
Okay. I know people that has like 5 businesses, and during this period of COVID-19, they were able to get a lot of loan because they have different businesses. So yes, I think you can have both if you can sort everything out. Why would business register as a sole proprietor considering the liability for sole business registration?
Well, some people are. It's some people say, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." It's what you know that you know. If you know there's liability behind sole proprietorship, you'll move ahead. If you know about the liabilities and you are still not ready to go the route of limited liability or incorporation, there are a number of people that still prefer just handling their business themselves, no incorporation required. With incorporation, you have to have maybe a lawyer for yourself. You probably have an accountant for yourself. I mean, for the corporation, you probably have some other form of professionals that you might need to engage one way or the other. But if you're a sole proprietor, you just do your thing and file your taxes, and that's it. You may not necessarily have to engage any of those professional bodies. So everybody has their reasoning behind going in as a sole proprietor.
Okay. Thank you. Somebody raised their hand. Shala, can you please unmute?
Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, this is Shola Dewale. So just to kind of shed a bit of light on the form of business, that's the organization. Basically, We have sole proprietorship, we have partnership, then we have the corporation. So basically, corporation is divided into two: the limited liability company, then the private limited liability company, and the public limited corporations. That's the PLC. So the purpose of private limited liability company is just for you to kind of register with your family or possibly friends. You have maximum of 50 shareholders in such corporation, minimum of 2, the maximum of 50. And you have to meet some requirements. But the main disadvantage of that is the fact that you are unable to raise capital on the stock exchange. You can't go public. You have to raise your money internally or possibly get loans to finance your business. Then for public limited companies, that's the PLC, basically you have the opportunity of having countless number of shareholders because your shares are made public on the stock exchange. Now, for tax planning, because this is the key aspect of it, like Madam Funke explained, if there is sole proprietorship or a partnership, you file all your taxes using your T1. That means that you declare your employment income, you declare your business income or trading income. But if you are a limited liability company, you have to file T2, that's corporate tax. And as a corporation, corporations are entities that are separate of the owners. So in this case, as a sole proprietorship, you are liable for everything you are doing. But as a company holder, as when you set up a public liability company, in that case, you are not liable for what happens in the company. The company is independent of you. And if you are making profit, you can decide to keep your profit within the business until you pay yourself dividend or management salary. You don't have to pay tax, separate tax, a personal tax. The tax you pay is the corporate tax that the government will tax you on, depending on the profit you make. So some people actually use the companies to plan their taxes. If you feel you are paying too much as a sole proprietorship, you can convert to private limited liability company where you can decide to be keeping your excess profit in retained earnings. And when you retire and you are no longer making employment income, you can decide to start withdrawing from your company and pay yourself dividend, and you'll be taxed at a lower tax rate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shala. That was very explanatory. Thank you so much for that wealth of information. And if anybody has any subject matter experts in the house, please, if you have something that you want to say to the group, or you want to help us volunteer with us, please send us an email, because we just want to make sure that everybody within our community has as much information. Knowledge is power. We want everybody to have the knowledge, because a lot of people are business agents, and a lot of people come to me, they don't know what business should be. I do everything just look a little bit complicated, but I know for accountants, you guys, it's very easy for you to navigate all of those things. I'll move to the next question. Is a limited liability, is insurance compulsory? As a limited liability, is insurance compulsory?
Well, I would say, irrespective of whether it's limited or unlimited, you can't overemphasize the essence of insurance. The place of insurance in any business, or even as an individual, is you suffer loss, you have something to fall back on. So whether as a limited liability or as a sole proprietor, it pays you to do insurance. No one will enforce insurance on you except maybe you're a professional body like lawyers, doctors, or accountants. You have to have insurance. But outside of that, it pays you. Then sometimes your bank could also insist, if they're giving you a facility, that you have to take on some form of insurance. So it depends on how you're structured again, and then it depends on who else you are working with. If you are working in partnership with somebody, or you are supplying a company some stuff, the company might insist that you do have insurance. So as a rule, professional companies, yes, they must have insurance. Personal preference, I would recommend, yes, have insurance. But then there are a number of other professions or businesses that don't necessarily have to have insurance. If you're in the food industry, yes, you have to have insurance. If maybe you're a contractor to third parties, yes, you have to have insurance. And this is especially for Canada anyway. Maybe back home, not necessary, but for other, I mean, for Canada especially, a lot of the time, I think it is essential you do have insurance.
Okay. Insurance is always good as a general rule, I think. So thank you so much for that explanation. With regards to COVID-19, can you please explain why some businesses did not qualify for government grants? As a business owner, it's important to contribute to CPP and EI. What are the benefits?
Okay. The type of grants the government came up with at the very beginning was to assist with payroll. Most of the businesses people come up with, I'll say the thoughts are we're saving money by not doing payroll, running payroll, maybe paying as contractors or consultants rather than running a proper payroll. Sometimes we don't even pay ourselves as owners of the business. So with the first grant that the government gave, they used payroll as a criteria for accessing the grant or the loan. So if you were not running payroll for the prior year, that is 2019, or your payroll was not up to $20,000 for that year, you were automatically disqualified. So over time, they came up with the SERV where what's it called now? Individuals could actually access, but that obviously will not help any business owner. Then they've come up with the CRB, still for individuals and self-employed, but it still doesn't help with running of the business per se. It's just self-sustenance. I think they also gave up, they tried to come up with another grant for businesses that did not have payroll. But if you don't have payroll, you had to have reoccurring payments. That is your rent, your lease, your maybe car payments and all that. If your business is not functioned or is not structured in the way that you are paying month-on-month rent, or you are paying card notes, or you are paying for particular services month to month, you won't be able to access that as well. So your business structure actually is very key towards how these loans or grants are tailored to suit your business. The question is, as a business owner, is it important to contribute to CPP or EI? What are the benefits? Well, I have a very different perspective to CPP and EI, and I know that a whole lot of people gravitate towards let's pay CPP, let's pay EI, so that at the end of 60 years or at the end of my retirement, I have something to fall back on, or EI, if there's anything that goes wrong, if anything goes wrong, I'm able to fall back on employment insurance. Maybe I will leave the pro to somebody else to illuminate on. I'll go for the con. That is why I don't subscribe to a business owner paying CPP or EI. I know this may go against what Ms. Satiba would expect, but I want to come up with my own radical perspective, because everybody has a right to their own opinions, and I'm not advising as your accountant, I'm not advising as your tax person. I'm just giving you my perspective as an individual. I'm sure we have subject matter experts in the house who may come up with contrary views, but this is my perspective. At the end of retirement, CPP comes to X amount. Let's say, for instance, you are paid 1,015, depending on how much you've contributed into the pool over time. I guess the maximum you probably can get will probably be in the range of that 1,500. 1,500 for anybody. Mortgage, feeding, bills, I'm not sure how sufficient that is. EI, I don't know how many people have gone on maternity before, or you've had to go on EI during this COVID, how much you've been able to tap from it, and how sufficient it was for anybody's personal expenses or whatever. So sometimes when my clients ask me, there is a maximum contribution for any year. You get, once you get to that maximum, don't exceed it. Do the bare minimum and then invest whatever else you have that is left. Putting all your money in CPP or in EI, for me, there is no amount of investment in those pools that will actually gravitate towards helping your expenses when you get to the retirement stage. So yes, at this point, maybe to access grants and whatever, paying payroll, if you're a business owner, there is some advantage to it. But in the long run, what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Which outweighs which? Those are things you need to sit down with a tax planner and an investment strategist and actually come up with a plan that works for you.
Thank you so much about that. Mr. Akiba, do you have something to say? I know no one hat fits all, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
I'm a very big champion to have an accountant, especially if you have a business, have an accountant that is knowledgeable about your area of expertise. Make sure they look at your books and they are able to advise you on the best advice. They are able to advise you based on your own scenario. Right? Some people, it might be good for them to actually maximize on their EI, and some people it's not. But you just have to talk to your accountant about that. So that is what I can say. Mr. Atiba, do you have something to say?
Thank you very much. I'm just add to what Mr. Itaya said. Again, to each its own. It's not a recommendation to everybody. But when it comes to businesses, CPPEI, from my perspective, it's forced saving. Most people don't save, period.
Can you even talk about CCP and what it is, first of all, because some people may not even understand that.
Thank you. So CPP is Canada Pension Plan, and EI is employment. So I've been opportunity to actually benefit from EI because I had a baby in Canada about 30 years ago. So I'm happy that I was able to get some form of income for 1 whole year. Wow. They've actually increased it to 18 months now. But talking about business owner, I see it as possible. In CPP, there's a limit that you can pay. I'm not telling you what.
Very sorry to Auntie, the voice is echoing. I'm not sure if you have 2 different systems on, or can everybody else that is not talking, can I ask you to please mute yourselves?
Yeah, because I only have one system now.
Okay.
Okay, so as I was saying, CPP to me, I think it's more of a forced savings. If you're working for an employer, your employer will pay 50% and you pay 50%. That's the way CPP is paid. And if you're working for yourself, the government expects you to pay the 100%. And this money, there's something they call YMP, yearly employment pensionable earning. It's about 50 something thousand. That's what they focus on. So if you earn 120,000, they're not going to take CPP of 120,000 from you. They will only take up to the maximum of yearly employment pensionable earning from you to save for you, so that when you do retire, you have something. We come from a country where we don't have all those kind of things. I know that since I left Nigeria, I think some banks are beginning to put some pensions into to help the employees now, but we never had it. So coming here, they help you to plan. I've been in banking world for like 32 years. I'm meeting people in here that have been working for 32 and they're retiring. I can't retire. If I started working in Canada for the past 32, I would have retired by now, because not only will I have CPP waiting for me to take, I will also have my employee pension plan, because that is the system here. They help you plan your life. So you don't need to do it yourself. People like me, knowing what I know, I do more on top of it, because I know CPP is not going to be enough for me. I know the pension they're getting for me is not going to be enough for me, because I came here as an adult. So really, I really think, this event is not for us to advise anybody here on business. I would say speak to your accountant, let them look at your personal situation, and they will use it to advise you to say, is it a good thing for you to do CPP? Is it a good thing for you to have EI? If you know you're young and you're going to have babies, you got to have EI.
Thank you.
That is so important. You have to have EI. But if you're a business owner and you know that you're not going to have any babies, talk to your accountant. Let them tell you, let them look at your own personal situation, and they'll be able to advise you, okay, this is good for you. It's just the same thing like RRSP. People will talk about RRSP not being good. If you ask me, I will tell you it's good. So it's different, situation for different people. That's just what I want to add. Thank you so much, Ms. Ojo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Shola, you wanted to add something? You can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. To further buttress what my able madam just said now. I'm sorry, I don't know the name, so I'm very sorry for that. Basically, CPP is compulsory. Either you are self-employed or you are an employee. You have to have CPP. But as a self-employed, you might decide. I think he's echoing because Madam Funke Yitayo she has unmuted her. Yeah, great, thank you. So as a self-employed, you might decide to have EI or not. You have choice of either having EI or not, but CPP is compulsory, and CPP is for your retirement. Basically, you can start assessing it when you are above 60, but that is if you want to assess it early. But if you want to assess it late, you can start at 65. And to go back to Nigeria, yeah, some of us that started our careers like less than 15 years ago, I think around 2009 or 2010, they started a pension plan in Nigeria as well. So anybody who is working in the corporation in Nigeria will have to contribute to the pension plan. It's similar to what is done in Canada. So we have that. Some of us that left Nigeria along the line, we still have our money there. So you can access part of it if you don't work for a while. So basically, it's important to actually have that. And like she also said, yeah, whatever we do today, we still have to plan for our future. Businesses can fail. You can stop working all of a sudden. You still have to have plans of possibly having access to other support. So having pension plan that is compulsory, having RSP, which is tax deductible right now, is a way of tax planning as well, is key. I'm not an accountant that works in a public company, but I work in a private company and I'm very conversant with this. So it's actually good that you have something that you can, save for the raining days, because you can never tell. And that is my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we have about 3 more minutes before we get to the next speaker. I'm looking at a question. I don't in the chat box. I don't see any other question. Can you be okay? Somebody, one is C. Can you be on your business payroll while being fully employed? I guess this will go. Maybe you can answer it in terms of a sole proprietor or a corporation. Madam Eitayo.
I'm sorry, Deborah, I was distracted. Can you come again with your question? I apologize.
Okay, the question was, can you be on your own payroll as a business owner?
And be fully employed. Okay, I saw the question. Can you be on your business payroll while being fully employed? Yeah. Yes, you can.
So as a sole proprietor or as a business owner, in both cases you can?
You can do your payroll. The only thing is be prepared for the tax implication. Do you understand? Okay. Because if you are earning an income, obviously you are making some money and you are paying taxes on that. Then on your business side as well, you are putting yourself on the payroll. Definitely you have to pay taxes on it and all that. So both incomes are definitely going to be susceptible to taxes. You can pay yourself on the payroll, no big deal.
Okay. I have about 1 minute to spare for Mr. Shah. I think he has something to say. Go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand the other time. Sorry, I didn't have anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. I hope this was fun for me as well, more than anybody else, because I'm a business owner. And I really think a lot of people need to speak to their accountants about tax planning. Like Mrs. Isayo said, you want to max or minimize your tax or maximize your money in your pocket. So we don't want to pay too much more than what we need to pay. So tax planning is important. Having the right structure is definitely important, because when grant comes, when you go to RBC or TD, or you want to speak to a mortgage consultant about your business loans, about getting a mortgage for your business, you need to have the right structure. And I think this is very important. There's a lot of people that come to me, they're making $30,000, $40,000 from their side hustle, but they refuse to register the business. So registering the business is for sure the very first step. Once you have a business, I think that's some question that we should be asking her. Once you have a business, I think about $30,000, you have to register. You should register your business, because there's a lot of opportunities for you to maximize, to expand your businesses. Job is sometimes, in some cases, when you close from work, from your 9 to 5, that's when you go to your real job. Sometimes some people have hobby of doing hair, some people have hobby of salon, different things. But we need to have the best structure in order to grow and expand. So I hope this information tonight has been able to break some eyes on some of the things that maybe was on our mind, or maybe some things that we haven't thought about. I'll hand over to Ms. Atiba now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ojo. Thank you, Ms. Eitayo. We really, really appreciate all this information. Very, very insightful. And I just want to say that this is actually the beginning of the tax planning, because, talking about the fact that you're working for an employer and you have a business, you're earning money and you're on payroll. Being on payroll, it means that your income is increasing, which is amazing. It's good to earn a lot of income, but then you need to think about tax planning.
Is she there?
So sorry about that. That's a discussion for another time. I'm going to hand it over to Emmanuel to introduce our next speaker. Emmanuel, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Before going, I would just like to thank our previous speaker again for such a wonderful presentation, and for just clarifying how important structure is to the betterment of your own business. Now, moving on to our next presenter, her name is Faith Oladapo. She's a regulated Canadian immigration consultant licensed under ICCRC. She's the CEO of TFO Immigration Services located in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. She has successfully handled different cases such as express entries, sponsored applications, caregivers, temporary residencies, citizenships, and some refugee cases. So with that being said, I hand it over to our presenter, Ms. Faith Oladapo.
Hi guys, good. Hi everyone, good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Good evening.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm just going to share my screen with everyone. Just give me 1 second. So how do I share? Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yes, we can.
perfect. All right.
No, we cannot.
Oh, you can see it now? Yeah, can you everyone see my screen?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore? Okay.
Do you want me to share it for you because you're using your?
Give me 1 second.
Yes.
I could see it before. I don't know why it's not recording anymore. Okay. Yes, it's right. Sorry, it's just loading. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Can you? Yes?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, everyone. Good evening, and thank you guys for thank you guys for adding me to this conversation today. I also want to thank Auntie at GTP for including me in this conference for the last minute. I really appreciate it. And also, thank you guys for including me in this conference call today. I can't see anyone in the screen, so I'm just looking at the screen, okay? And she actually just she wanted me to join this conversation because I am a business owner, and she just wanted me to explain to everyone my journey so far as a self-employed and an entrepreneur. And basically today I'm just going to kind of touch base on my journey, my transition as a business owner, what I did, and how I'm operating my business in Canada. Okay, so as they introduced me before, my name is Faith Oladapo, and I am the CEO of FTO Immigration Services, and my business is located in Brampton, Ontario, Canada, and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. And briefly, as they explained, I handle any immigration aspect, anything to do with Canadian immigration. I'm the person to go to. And before we start, everyone always wants to ask me that, was this always my dream to open my business? Was it always my dream to open my business? Was it always my dream to open my business? It was never my dream to open a business or to be an entrepreneur. But I believe like during situations that's happened and during my past experience, I decided that like I would rather be self-employed than to work for someone. So back just following through the last presenter conversation as saying opening your business. I actually started my business as a sole proprietor, and like I said, it was never my intention to open my business. And the reason why I opened my business, I will just give you like a backstory on what actually pushed me and gave me the green light to start my business. So this goes back to 2015 when I completed my first degree at York University. I was kind of like trying to figure out what would be my next plan moving forward. Like I wanted to go back to school, but I was like thinking, if I was to go back to school, I need to make a decision or completing a degree in furthering, if I was going to complete a degree, I wanted to complete my degree, furthering my education, and also doing something I know later on in the future would be beneficial to me. So in 2015, I was always interested in the legal profession field. I was always interested in the corporate world. I was also interested in law. So that was my background, completing my first degree. So I was trying to figure out, what do I need to do? What was the next step? What decision do I need to make? So I told my dad I wanted to do paralegal. And my dad was like, oh, great. They actually have one consultant who was actually working with us and actually helped us with our PR application. And my dad was like introducing me to have a sit down with her and kind of discuss with her my opportunities. So I remember this was in 2016. Around January, the beginning of the year, I just went to our office. This was our office was located in the downtown area. So when I went into our office, I was so impressed. Like, the office was like a corporate world. She had like the big office, the big CEO. She was like a big boss in her office, and I was like, oh my God, I want to be like her one day. I was so like gassed about like that's the way she carried herself. So we had lunch together, and I kind of like told her what I wanted to do. And I told her I wanted to become a paralegal, and she asked me what aspects of law do I like. And I said to her that I'm interested in immigration. She was like, oh, if you're interested in immigration, then you don't need to do paralegal. There's something called actually, it's a licensed body for immigration consultants, and you have to just complete a degree and you can get your license and you can start practicing as an immigration consultant. And that's what she's actually is. She's actually a consultant, not a paralegal. And I was very intrigued by what she told me. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So I'm going to look into that. So I looked into that, and in 2016, I enrolled. Sorry, can you guys see me? Hello?
You are good.
All right, perfect. So in 2016, I enrolled into completing my post-secondary school certificate. So after completing that, one of the advice I got from the woman I would call her like a mentor. One of the advice I got from her was I should work for an agency or work for an immigration firm to get my experience. So while I was in school completing my second degree, I started applying for jobs. She told me where to submit my resume. She told me how to edit my resume, what to look for. So luckily for me, in 2016, ending of 2016, I got a job at this law firm in Vaughan. And the law firm, they actually they hired me as an administrative assistant. So while I was working at the law firm, I was still going to school, trying to complete my license. And I was just working my way just trying to understand this area. This is like something I was interested in. So I was just working my way, building my experience, trying to just gather as much information I could. And in the firm I was working for, there were different positions opening. So I applied to become a client file manager. From the client file manager, I ended up completing my license and I became a consultant there. While I was working as a consultant, I noticed that there are other ways I could so I was working in the firm as a licensed consultant, working there full time. The job, I was comfortable at what I was doing. I was happy at where I was. I was pretty content with where the position I was in. I was very content with that. In 2018 November, I decided that, so in 2018 November, I decided that I needed something in my life was I knew I was already getting a lot of client base where I was working, because the firm I was working for, they actually catered to a lot of background. So they were catering to the Asian background, to the Caribbean, Africa. So I had an opportunity to work with different background, and I'm like, okay, I was getting different client base. I was getting referred to different clients, and I felt that like the only way I could kind of grow in what I was doing was to actually start up my own business. So this goes back to I wanted to start up my business because I was getting referred by a lot of clients. And in 2018 November exact, I decided I needed to just take that leap of faith and take that decision to start up my own, not knowing, I didn't have any plan or anything where, okay, I'm going to do this and do that. I just knew that like I wanted to start up my own, and I wanted to I wanted to be very committed in what I was doing. So I told my parents around that time too that I quit my job, and everyone was like, well, why are you quitting your job? Why don't you just do it part-time? You know, do it like a side hustle. I was like, well, I have my license. I'm very confident in what I'm doing. I pretty much understand how this market work. I have my own client base already. So I don't feel like I should invest in other people's company. I could actually start up my own and build something from there. And so that's in 2018, I quit the job. I quit my job. Then I went back to my business plan in school, because in school, when we were completing our degree, they made us create a business plan. So my business plan, I went back to my drawing board, and I was looking at my business plan, trying to figure out what steps I need to take. I'm like, okay, I need to start small, of course. I'm not looking to start big. I need to be I was very honest with myself. I'm like, I'm going to start small. After starting small, I'm going to start building from where I'm starting. I'm going to definitely build from where I'm starting. I'm going to look for a location. One thing I wanted to know was look at the market. What market do I want to target? What are my target markets? Is it just going to be for people in Canada, or is it going to be from people outside Canada? Where are my clients going to be meeting me? I was looking at all of these. And luckily for me, I had a business plan from school. So I was just implementing the business plan I had in school into reality. And so before I made a decision to activate my business plan, of course, I sat down with a bunch of accountants. I sat down with my accountant. I sat down with someone at the bank who was a small business advisor. I also sat down with a business analyst who was one of my friends too, just giving an idea on what I needed, what are the tools I needed to start up my business. And when you're getting because it's a licensed profession, there's certain requirements you needed to do for you to actually register your business. And I was making sure that I had to follow all the regulations to ensure that, because before you can practice, just like an accountant, just like a lawyer, you have to meet certain requirements. So the first thing I had to do was definitely register my business as a sole proprietor. It was actually it took 10 minutes. It was very straightforward. I looked for the business name I was looking for. I registered my name, registered my business name. I went to the bank. I opened a bank account for my business. I opened a client account for my business. I also was able to speak to a business advisor in the bank, asking questions, what I needed to do to implement this business. They asked me about the loans. What kind of loans do I want to take? Am I taking on a loan at the beginning? Do I want to start up? What is my capital? They were asking me all these questions. And of course, like I said, I did take a leap of faith to do it, but I was very confident in what I was doing. So I was like, okay, I'm not looking to apply for any loan right now. Like I said, I wanted to start off small. So I already have a small capital into starting off my business. And everyone at the beginning were telling me that, oh, you don't need to, it's your first year in the office. You don't need to rent an office. You can work from home. You can do this, you can do that. And they were advising me based on what they know, right? And I was like, if I was going to do something, I'm going to put 100%. I'm going to put 100% effort in it. So I ended up finding out a corporate working space, a corporate setting that suits what I was looking for. So I registered. After registering my business, I found a location. I paid the first and the last month payment to have a location because, like I said, when you're dealing with clients, I didn't want to be able to be carrying client files everywhere. I also wanted to make sure that clients could trust me. I wanted them to make sure that I also wanted to show professionalism too, because I'm starting out new. There are a lot of people who are in the field better than me. So I need to make sure that if I'm putting myself out there, I'm putting myself 100% to the client to make sure they can trust me. So I rented out an office space at my first year. I was able to pay the first and the last month's payment. I had my business registered already. I had my corporate, my business accounts registered, everything. Then January 1st, 2019, I went to the office. The 2nd of January, I went into my office. And when I went in there, first of all, like I said, everyone really doubted me. Everyone was putting fear in me. People were trying to scare me, oh, you shouldn't do this, don't put 100% in it, actually have a part-time job. But I felt that if I was to have a part-time job, it's going to take half of my energy and I'm not be able to put 100% in what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be committed in my business. So when I went to the office, in January 2019. I already had my office space. So my parents came in there, and when they came into the office, they're super impressed. They're like, "Oh, Faith, this is a good location. You got a really good office. I'm super happy for you." I was like, "Yeah, everything is paid for." They were like, "Okay, what about next month? Who's going to pay your next month?" I'm like, "You know what? I have faith in myself. I'm working by faith. Next month, I'll figure it out." But when I went to the office, when I really knew that this was meant for me, like I said, when I went to the office that first day, I was able to get like my first clients there. And getting my first clients there, I spoke to them on the phone. I was very, very confident at what I was doing. And my first client became my second client, who actually referred me to other clients. So I was just growing, starting, like I said, it started from small. I was just growing and growing. And anywhere I was always putting my business out there. I was always networking at every event I had. I printed out my business card. I was expanding my business and my business scope and the content of what I was doing, selling my business to everyone, whether it's at church, whether it's at the a gathering, birthday parties. I was just out there selling my business. And if you're offering a service business, it's very, very difficult because you're not selling a product to anyone. So you have to kind of sell yourself. Why would someone come to you? Why would someone want to use your service? Why is your service different from other people's service? And what I felt like was different from other people was I was very, very transparent with my clients. And I was trying to ensure that everything I was doing the due diligence in doing it. I wasn't trying to cut corners for anyone. I was very, very upfront with them. I was very, very, very transparent. And I also noticed that this was actually working for my service. So everyone was, so it goes from like people referring me to random people calling me because they saw my ad somewhere, or they saw my business card somewhere. So I was just literally selling my service to people, trying to make sure that I was just I put on 100% in what I was doing. And so how did COVID, so that was like a little bit of the background of my business and as a small business owner, and I'm still growing. So COVID came in 2020, which was unexpected for a lot of people. And I was so happy that from the get-go, I was actually following all the guidelines, all the rules and regulations. I was not scared in asking any question. If something didn't make sense to me, if I didn't understand anything regarding accounting, regarding taxes, regarding anything, I would just go up to the accountant, which I had. I'll go to my accountant and try to make him explain everything to me. So when COVID came around, how did COVID affect my business? It affected my business in an aspect where we were unsure about a lot of things. But luckily for me, like I said, I had a lot of things in place. So when the grants came up from the government, a lot of openings came up from the government. Luckily for us, I was actually eligible to apply for a lot of the grants because, like I said, I didn't cut corners in doing anything. I was actually following every guideline. So when I went to the bank to apply for the loan, just to see what my options are, most of the grants, most of the loans, most of everything they were offering for small business, I was able to qualify for it because I was able to show all my payroll. I was able to show all the invoices. I filed my taxes when I needed to file my taxes. I did everything the correct way. So providing the documents to the government was pretty much straightforward for me because I had everything in place. And how did COVID affect my business? COVID affected my business because it made me step out of my comfort zone. It made me realize what other options I needed to do, because before I was always on the phone talking to clients, and I decided to be like, how can I engage in clients? How can I get people to come to me? So I started creating content on YouTube. I started doing seminars, offering live seminar about immigration, just engaging with a lot of people, a lot of things to just sell my business out there. And luckily for me, that actually I saw a tremendous growth by just putting myself out there, not being idle at a time when COVID had everyone shocked. And so applying for so pretty much that's my journey. And what has really, really pushed me, and I'm still on this journey right now, and I don't regret making that decision because I did take a leap of faith. I left everything I was currently doing because I had a confidence in myself that I will be able to do it. And I know that if I was going to do something, I was very, very committed, and I have very, very, very passionate in what I was doing. So what I would advise to everyone out there, if you have a business idea, just start by putting it down on a paper and just planning it out, like looking at the scope of market. How is your business going to impact people's life? How's your business going to impact? How's your business going to be different from anyone's business? It might not be different, but what are you going to bring out? What are you bringing it out there for people to engage in you? What if you're going to be selling a product, how can you make people come back to you? And one thing I always notice in our community is your customer service too. You have to make sure that whatever you're doing, your customers, you're doing it in a way that you're not cutting corners in anything you're doing. Your customers, customer service is very, 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 very important. Always listen to the customers. Always go out there and like take advice from people. If you're not unsure about anything, do your research. If you're unsure about accounting, look for an accountant. If you're unsure about starting up a business, have a business. If you're not even sure on how to start up a business plan, I didn't have a business plan, like a professional business plan. I used my business plan from school, and from there I was just following and implementing things as time was coming across. Like this year, this is what I wanted to do. Next year, this is what I wanted to do. And actually, my business plan really impacted me this time during COVID. So I'm like, if I was to employ anyone into my business, there was already like a structure there that people just had to follow, because I already had some sort of business plan in place. So it might not be like a professional business plan. As long as you have a template and you have a vision in doing something, you just have to put it out there and do it. And so this is our social media. So you can follow us on social media, on Instagram. My number is there, on YouTube, and on Facebook too. So if you have any questions regarding immigration, you can reach out to us. And thank you so much. And do you guys have any questions?
Thank you so much for all your inspiring us with your business plan. You jumped in there and you just did it. I love that. Any questions, guys? Anybody with questions? So I know you were saying you were confident, you weren't scared. Was it like, I started a business and I was scared in one part. I was still confident, but I was scared a little bit, like just teeny bit.
Yeah.
There any do you have any of those nights where you were just like, should I do this? Everybody is saying no.
Of course. Like
how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So of course, like when you go to sleep, like I said, like I only pay the first and the last month's rent. So for me, I was just like, oh God, please help me. I don't know how I'm gonna make. Of course, I was just saying to God, I was very prayerful. One thing I'm not even gonna lie, I was very, very prayerful in what I was doing. And I was just saying to myself, like, I'm putting 100% commitment in doing this. And I just like, God, please do not disappoint me. And I was just like, I had doubts, but I didn't have doubts. So I didn't want anyone to put that doubt to me. I didn't want anyone to, like, my mom was telling me, oh, have a part-time job. Oh, actually do part-time. I was like, if I start doing part-time, I'm already doubting God. If I'm already going to I'm not saying don't do a part-time job. Of course, do a part if you have to. But what I wanted to do, I was like, I didn't want to doubt anything. And I was very, very confident. And like I said, I took that leap of faith that, because the industry I was working in, I saw how well I was doing. I knew that, like, if I was doing this by myself, I could definitely, it's my own business. I'm going to put 100% in it.
Thank you very much.
I just want to add and say that, you know what, Faith, thank you so much. You're exactly what your name is, Faith. You went in with faith.
Yeah.
And CMP is non-denominational, but I'm just talking to exactly what you presented. One of the 4 core areas of our life that we really need to focus on, and if you've not check us out on YouTube, there's so many events that we've done. The one we did in Ottawa, we actually had a psychiatric doctor talk to us about our mental health. And one of the areas they touch is the fact that there are 4 core areas that is so important to us having an holistic and peaceful life. One of it is your faith. One area of it is your faith. Another area is your career. Another area is your family. and another is your physical well-being. So if all those fours are good, you are good. So the reason why I wanted Faith to come and talk to us today is that she actually went into that business at the age of 25. I hope you don't mind me talking about your age.
No,
That's a very, very young age. I was so impressed by her going in at that time. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're thinking of doing a business, don't overthink it. We tend to boil the ocean. We think, oh, is this gonna work? Seriously, just do it. Nike, just do it. Just do it. She had faith and she spoke to professionals around her. Speak to professionals around you. What kind of business are you looking to do? There are people in our community that can support you. She's done it. She can guide you. Deborah Ojo is a business owner. She's a little bit older than I'm not aging you. I'm not dating you. She's done it. She can guide you. We have so many business owners in our community. They've done it. They can guide you if you want to be an entrepreneur, business owner. But you want to be a 9 to 5? Seriously, come and talk to me. I will guide you. Come and talk to our daddy, Mr. Ladapo. He will guide you. There's so many people on this platform, believe you, that can guide you with respect to what you want to do. Whether you want to work or you want to do business. Or you want to do a combination. Again, to each its own. For some people, it will be that combination. So please, take advantage of all these wonderful subject matter experts that we have amongst us. Let's take advantage of them. Let's learn from them, whether they're young or semi-young or semi-old or old, doesn't matter. We have them in different shades and sizes. We're here to support each other. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Faith. Thank you so much. That was very inspiring. Thank you so much. Deborah, if you don't have anything to say,
Mr. Oladapo raised his hand. Mr. Oladapo, please go ahead.
And thank you, Auntie Adejiso. I really do appreciate you, man. I do appreciate you. I wanted to just stay quietly in the background. Now that you have put me on the spot, I will want to say a little thing. Not because Faith is my daughter. She actually surprised us, and what he did was, I've been a career man since all my life. I won't tell you how many years, please. And I'm still in it. So left for me, my children should take off from where I'm departing. But when she came up with that idea, one thing I think she did emphasize was that when she was working with that immigration consultant, I think she had the opportunity of going through all the rotation aspects of what is required in the kind of service industry she is. She had the administrative part, she has the client orientation part, she has the consultancy part. But within 1 or 2 years that she was there, the managing partner was involving her in virtually every bit of what is that. And she was not complaining. And maybe that is one of the lessons we want to learn. She was not complaining. She will come late. Say, oh, my manager has moved to so. I said, at any rate, I'm getting something. At any rate, I'm getting something. Even though the pay was not increasing per se, she was at least accumulating that experience. So when he said, I'm confident, I think the confidence stemmed out of, oh, well, I have the qualification, then I have the experience on virtually what is in the ecosystem that would make me to succeed. So that's actually what I said. And so when she told us, because she didn't tell the mother will panic a little bit, that any money you want to trouble me, I don't want your father to be paying your bills again. So she just said, we're going, Dad, Mom, you are going to help me. I've looked from my office. I want to go and pray with me. I said, okay, now that you have faith and acting your faith out, we can't do anything. But remember, don't ask me for money. Don't ask me for money. I said, no, don't worry. And we went there. So he came in after on that particular day, Dad, God is leading me. I said, what do you mean? I got my first client and it is a done deal. She said, I said, really? That was it. And the way you said it is that I think there is what we call, as you are growing old, increased fear of failure. What if? What if? And he mentioned something which is very valid right now. leaving your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is your regular salary. You know, at the end of these 2 weeks, this amount is coming in. That's your comfort zone. For that 1, 2, 3 months, I don't know whether she got salary, and she dare not ask me anyway because I'm still earning salary too. So, but we in business, I've not done business, but I'm learning from people who are going to business, especially those who are still young, age is on your side. Don't wait until everything is keyed up. Start little and one step after the other. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. I never knew there's something like this, and I'm happy to be in town to join this team. Anywhere I am, I'll be feel free to join you as long as you keep me in the loop. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Thank you so much.
One key thing that I wrote down is don't wait until everything is keyed up. Don't wait till the last minute. And parents, please encourage us to continue. My mom was like, "Are you sure? Are you gonna do this? Are you sure? Are you gonna do this?" And I'm like, "Yes, we're gonna do it. Yes, we're gonna do it." I was already married, so I told my partner and I said, "Listen, you're gonna have to take care of the bills for 1 year in case I'm not successful." I still left room. I was scared because I already had 4 kids. So I was still scared because I had bills to pay and we have to pay bills. So I just told my husband, you have to take care of the bills. We're gonna cut back on some of the things that we need to do, but this is what it is because I'm going in all in, all in. And somebody was asking Faith, did you have any contingency plan when you started this business in case you failed?
Well, like I said, like I didn't go in mind going like I'm going to fail. I just said to God, like, of course I have 2 degrees now. So if my plan would just be like go work for the corporate world, right? I always can get a job. But I went in there thinking that like if I start thinking of my failure, I'm going to fail, you know? So I just went in there like if I go in there 100%, having that faith in me and going like without no fear, no hesitation, blocking out every negative vibe. Like I said, my first year, everyone was scaring me that you don't need to rent. And now look at the fact that I was able to qualify for a lot of things because I actually have an office rent to showcase that that's an ongoing payment. So I didn't listen to all of them when they were telling me that, oh, don't rent an office, work from these, work from that. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And if I put 100%, like I said, if you put 100% in what you're doing, some way, somehow, it may not show at the beginning, but at the end of the day, because you're putting 100% commitment in it and you're just being hardworking, one day you will see a result. My contingency plan, I have a degree. Of course, I can get any job anywhere if I wanted to, but I didn't go in that mindset of failing. I went in that mindset of no matter what I'm going to do, I'm going to win in what I'm doing. And I'm still growing. I'm still not even where I want to be, and I'm still growing. And I feel like there's still room for growth for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, in short, everybody is scared when they want to jump into the water, but they do it anyways.
Yeah.
I see a lot of big people that said, I was scared, and they are still scared even as they grow, as they continue. But everybody is scared, but they do it anyways because you apply wisdom, when you're doing all those things. I'm sure, like I had some money set up for emergency, like this is how I'm going to run my bills.
Don't get me wrong, I was scared though. Like when I sleep in the night, I'll be like, oh God, figure it out. I was scared. But when I meet people, I'll be like, no, because if I'm gonna go in there being scared, then it's gonna affect my mental health. It's gonna affect. So I wish everyone who knows me knows I go with everything positive. I try to block as much negative thing around me. I always tell people that like just remain positive in what you're doing, don't give up. So like at night I might cry myself to sleep, like God, I didn't make this, but I know that I'm going in the next day just trying to strive and hustle so hard that I could make it.
Thank you. I was talking to somebody today and he was talking to me about different businesses that people want to get into, and immediately they say something. As a business owner, I just have some red flags, right? And it is that people try to say it's easy, like I'm going to get rich in 6 months, I'm going to get rich in 3 months, I'm going to get. What do you have to say to people that are trying to start a business and they really want to start, but because they are so quick in wanting to get money, they jump a lot of loops and oops, and they fail at the end of the day. How do you tell them to slow themselves down, to do all the research? What do you look for when you are starting a business? How do you know what kind of business you should
I feel
venture
like when
into.
it comes to business, if you're going in for the right reason of money, which most people do, like you're going in money and you're just like, I want to make this money, I want to make this money, I want to make that money. Then when the money doesn't start coming, then you start to panic and you start to feel like, oh, I failed. If you go into, when you have passion for something, like I said, whether it's cooking, whether it's making hair, whether it's in makeup, as long as that passion, you're doing it, you're enjoying doing it, like there's a that, like I said, like it's that passion. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. I will never do a business where I know I'm not passionate about. I'm just doing it for the wrong reason, because of money. What if the money doesn't come in? What am I going to do now? What is my plan B? So if you're going in that mindset of I want to make money in the next 3 months, I want to make money in the next 6 months, but you're not passionate about it, you're just doing it because everybody's doing it. You want to put your mouth in there and do it. Just because you work for that person does not mean it's going to work for you. So you have to 100% in whatever business you're doing, most successful business, there's always some room, like you had passion in it. There was some kind of passion that was, you just put it, whether it's like you had passion in electronics, whether you had passion in makeup, and you just put it into it. And passion always makes everything excel more.
And I know one of the things you said from you to start, it was that you had some clients and you knew that you already had some clients, you were already comfortable in your skin. So it's also business planning, right?
Yeah.
So I think our accountant, Miss Madam President, if you can put some of the contact information of our speakers on the board, on the chat room, so that because people are asking, so that they can have that. But business planning, surrounding yourself with a lot of people that have done it before, a lot of mentors, a lot of professionals, I think that will help for sure. Is there any last thing that you want to say to people? How do they? I think she's gonna post your information there, anyways.
Okay. One thing I would say is whether it's no idea is too small. Whether you have a small idea and you come out with your idea, I feel like any idea you have, just write it down. It might not be this year you're going to do it. It might not be next year. That small idea, just try and work towards that small idea. Whether it's working that 9 to 5 every day, and you have that, and COVID has given us a wake-up call. I don't know if it was a wake-up call to everyone that what you can never really rely on your 9 to 5 100%, because most of the time now everybody's relying on your side also. Most of the time what is going on, that people were laid off at their workplace. So I always feel like no matter what you're doing, if you have a plan, if you have a passion, whether it's in singing, whether it's in writing books, whether it's in talking, put that passion and play it out. We have the opportunity in this country to do that. We have so many resources out there to do that. We have so many grants we're even not aware about to do that too, and we just have to take advantage while we're young, old, to just put it out there and do it.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for our presenters today? Thank you so much, guys, for doing an amazing job. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for adding to us. We really appreciate you guys. Any other questions before we bring this to a close? If you don't mind, putting your information, and I'll make sure that we leave another 5 minutes so that people can copy it off. Leave your information in the chat box, please. If anybody need any subject matter experts, anybody they want to talk to about their business ideas, or about, you want to talk to an accountant, Miss Atiba is an amazing result. She's an amazing expert on finances. So if anybody wants to pick her brain, please reach out. There's a lot of subject matter experts in this professional organization, and I know that most people are willing to help. So you just have to reach out. Networking is very, very important. So please, let's network. We have to network more. We have to talk more. The chat room sometimes on the platform is quiet sometimes because we're not talking. Please, let's talk. Ask your questions. If there's something that you're thinking of, ask. Just somebody must have done it before. Somebody have walked through that before, and I'm sure somebody can put you through the right paths. If you're not on our Telegram, you can please send email to info@cmpNGO, and we will for sure add you to the platform. Mr. Olagoke raised his hand. Can you please go ahead? Okay, then it will be Ogena's turn. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm talking too much. I just wanted to put this in the context of our community, the Nigerian community. No, the story you hear about Nigeria is, if you are not careful, you get discouraged. The story you hear about Nigeria, but here is this body, an amazing body of people doing great things, and I can see a lot of experts on this call. So we need to start changing the narratives of our country. While we pray for our leaders to have a change of mind, to do the right thing, this great community of professionals need to be doing, you should encourage it and enlarge it so that people don't come to, for example, come to Canada to think that, oh, the only thing you can do is that we don't have Nigerian professionals, they are not in the corporate world. Nigerians are doing amazing things. And that is the story we should be saying to everybody. When I travel all over Africa and somebody tells you, are you from Nigeria? And then I will tell them, proudly Nigerian. Because I tell them, there's no problem that is in Nigeria that's not in any other country. But somebody somewhere has maligned the nation in such a way to make it look like, oh, fraud is only associated in Nigeria. This is only associated in Nigeria. No, it's not true. We should change the narrative of our nation. That's where we come from. You guys may be Canadian, I'm proudly Nigerian and African, and I go everywhere to make bold and say Nigeria is a, if you say there is a fraudster in Nigeria, there are 1 million professionals in Nigeria that are doing great things. So why do you want to label me with when you use statistics, you can't use a poor sample to represent a whole population. That is what we should do. And this, knowing that we have a body like this, I will be part of it. I will be in the background and to be able to support what the ideas of this society is. We have an amazing people, an amazing nation, and we should not stop at blowing our horns when we need to do that. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I just want to take 2 minutes to go to our website, sir. I just want to present our website to you so that you know exactly what you're saying is my sentiment. And I say for anybody that cares to listen, they say fraud. I tell people fraud is an English word. It is not peculiar to Nigerians alone. Fraud is because Oyibos too, they do fraud. That's why. So this is our website. And I'm just going to go down so that you see what our vision is actually. So we talk about networking. Somebody typed on the platform and said, network, network, network. If you don't network, the people you met today, you will not meet them. And you will be in the house doing nothing because COVID has locked us down. Mentoring new professional immigrants. There are a lot of people coming in. How are you impacting other people's life? It's not about you alone. What can you do for somebody else to gain? What will people say about you when you're gone? Is it that you were a good person to your children or to your family? What about others out there? Nurturing positive professional image. Positive professional image. You know, I love the fact that we had this business discussion today, because when you want to do something and you believe that you can do it, just do it. Just go ahead and do it. You know, at times some of us try to start small, but we're bigger than small. That's the point. So at times we just got to go head on. But again, to each its own. Some people you just got to do that C-suite kind of thing, which is okay. So nurturing positive professional image. Avenues for information. Today I saw people saying, can I have your number? Can I have this? If you didn't come to this place, you will not have that number. So providing that information, timely information that can help you, me, and everybody else. A role model to our children. Very, very important. And social, professional, economic, and political empowerment. What are the social nuances of Canada? How can we empower ourselves? The people that tell the story are the people that have money. If you have not seen our documentary CMP iLife musical video, you need to see it. It's very important. And I'm going to go from here. I'm just quickly going to go to our events. Where do I go? Events, yes. These are events that we have done. Events that we have done. Go into our gallery. Go and see what we have done. There are videos, there are pictures, and it dates back to 2018. This is not a baby organization. We've been around and we're still going on strong. Go to our YouTube channel, get to know us a little bit more. And if you're looking for information on COVID, this takes you to COVID. This one is really very good, especially for business owners. It asks you personalized questions and is able to tell you what the government has in store for you. And individual, this is where you go. So there's so much information here, and all we need to do is just come together, help each other, talk together, provide relevant information, mentor each other. It doesn't matter whether you are new or you've been old or you've been in Canada for all this while. Let me tell you one thing: we can call ourselves Canadian all we want. When you go out there, they'll still say, "What is your background?" And then you're gonna say, "I'm from Nigeria." I'm proudly Nigerian, and as everybody will. I mean, we had a program recently where we were praying for Nigeria. We prayed for Nigeria for about 2 weeks during the EndSARS. We had Muslims come, we had Christians come, because Nigeria is multi-religion. So we prayed because we know the importance of praying for our nation. If our nation was the way we want it to be, what are we doing here? So please, I mean, go to our website, get to know us a little bit more. If you are not on our Telegram, please join us. And, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, Indians are doing this, Chinese are doing this. So what are we doing? How are we supporting our community? This is one way you can support our community. We have membership. We need money to do a lot of things. Individual member is $50. Business member is $200 for a year. That is a way to invest in your community. Let's get to know ourselves. Let's support ourselves. Business-wise, individual-wise, we have so much value in this community. And you can be, I mean, I always tell people that you can be whatever you want to be. So please, that is our website. Go there, visit it. There's a lot of information there. And I know that we posted a link to the YouTube for the iLife documentary. Go and look at it. Enjoy it, relax. Let it remind you of who you really are. We are wonderful people. We are intelligent, skilled people. As you can see, look at Faith, look at Deborah, look at our daddy, and so many other people on this platform here. So please, let's work together, because together we are stronger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam President. She's very passionate, as you can tell. We are very passionate about our community, and we are inviting you to join us if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you for sharing your evening with us. Listen to the music. I'm sure it would bless you. It would nurture you. It will give you comforts in this time, in this challenging time. And if you have any other topics or things that you want to discuss, anything, please post it on the Telegram. Send us a personal email. Send us a chat. Send us something. I will be sure to make sure that we include it in our upcoming events. On this note, I would like to say a good night to everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Please take a moment to copy some of the links that we put on the chat in the chat room, and we'll stay for another 10 minutes until 8 o'clock. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you guys for giving and putting this together.
Thank you, Ayomide. Ogena raised her hand. I'm sorry, Ogena. Go ahead. People are leaving, but you can go ahead, please. If she's still here. Sorry, I missed that.
Faith, thank you for bringing Daddy, for bringing I.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, man. She was
Thank
messaging
you,
me.
Ayo, for introducing
Hello.
us.
Hello.
And
Hi, Ogena.
yeah, Ogona is there
Right.
back.
No,
Ogo-
I just wanted to say thank you. Like, I was so impressed and inspired by Faith's story. Like, I could really relate to what she's saying, especially when you're trying to do something different and everybody's opposing it and thinking it's so much of a big deal. I mean, I haven't gotten to where she is, but she really inspired me. I thought I should drop it before I
Don't
go.
be too sure.
Yeah, and I really like that the community is very deliberate, intentional about growing the Nigerian community in Canada. I'm a newbie here, but I can really see the collaboration in other communities, like Madam just mentioned, the Jewish community, Chinese, Indians. This is not to thrive on separation, but I think it's always very important for us to be intentional about our own people. Like she said, if I came here, it broadened my mind, and I'm like, if someone is sewing in this street and there are 10 people, I would always go to the Nigerian person. Like when I came here, I found out that we're all the same. It doesn't matter how many religions and ethnicity we have in Nigeria. It's just what it is. Those things, they separate us. What is important is like our skin color, what we represent, how do we relate, what is our attitude about, who we are in the diaspora. And I just really like the initiative. I may sign
and
up though.
and and just to add on to that, Ogona, thank you so much. That inspired you. Thank you so much. I hope
Yeah.
we reconnect. And one thing we should add is Nigeria is actually the most educated country. The minimum level of education in Nigeria is like a bachelor's degree,
Yeah.
and we are super, super, super educated. And that's one thing we should never take that for granted. Like we are such a great community, and we just need to keep that love and support and encouragement together. Thank you guys for having us today.
Thank you, Faye. Thank you,
Thank
Daddy.
you.
Thank you, Neka, everyone. Good
Thank you
night.
so much. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. God bless
Thank
you.
you so much, everyone. Have
Okay,
a great day.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Funke. Thank you all.
For all our businesses, please